Hello, this is Mr. Jarrett, and in this video I am going to take you through the types of modeling presentation. So a model is a visual or mathematical or three-dimensional representation in detail of an object or design. It's often smaller than the original, so that's why it's a model. Now you can have a larger or smaller one, but most times it's a smaller one. So we have several different types of models: concept, graphical, mathematical, computer, and physical. Okay, so the first one is concept. So if you've ever heard that term before, concept is an idea. Okay, it's an idea. So if you've ever done a concept sketch, it's just creating a simple sketch of an idea. Okay, so here's an example of one. This is listing or mapping out the aspects involved in a design or process. Okay, so if you think about what you do on a daily basis, say you're right here. I'm not going to go through what this picture says, but say you're right here in the dead center, and say it's you wake up. You have to make a decision of getting out of bed, what you're going to wear, what you're going to do next, as far as maybe getting a shower or brushing your teeth or blah blah blah. Food, are you going to eat, and how are you going to get to school or wherever you need to go? So there's all these different decisions that you have to make that will get you to your end results of whatever you need to do. Okay, so it's concepts or ideas of how something centralized branches out to other things, or how those smaller things, in case of this picture, all these outside things actually trail back into the middle thing. Okay, so concept modeling. Then you have graphical modeling. This is where you're representing something like information through sketches or charts or graphs or maps. So you can see like a heat chart over here of the United States. Here is kind of a sketch drawn of this person or of this object. And then here you might see like seismic waves of impacts up and down. I don't necessarily know what that chart is, but I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So impacts on the Earth of rising and smalling impacts in different spots on the Earth. So these are all represented by graphics. You have mathematical modeling. So this is obviously using math, equations, and geometric representations to predict or model a phenomenon or behavior. So that is a huge definition. That's kind of a tongue twister there, but it's basically using basic math, okay, or the math that you would learn in school to solve a problem, okay, and how can we actually model the math to show and demonstrate the answer to that problem. Okay, then we have computer modeling. This is mainly what we teach here at school as far as the tech ed teachers go. Computer modeling is using a computer and software to create a representation of an object or concept. So if you've ever worked in SolidWorks, 3D modeling, that is a perfect example of what that definition says. Okay, you're using a computer to actually model and make an object's looks on the computer, how it looks. They even do this with electronics, so planning out circuit boards and when you press this button, how it wires to something else and works. They do this for even landscaping. You can draw out a plot plan of your house, your home, or whatever they're trying to landscape, and you can make the mulch beds and the tree layouts and everything like that. So 3D modeling on the computer. Okay. Now, your physical models, this is when you say, model of something. This is mainly what people would think of. Okay, oh, that's a model of it. So, physical model is obviously physical materials that represent the object. So, you have different types of physical models. First is a mock-up. A mock-up is just a model of a design concept that provides the look of the design, but does not provide its function or actually works. So, for instance, in this picture, this person is making a mock-up of a shopping cart, and they're actually just doing it out of paper clips. So they just bent these paper clips just so they could show somebody else, hey, look, this is what it might look like. Okay. Now, if you do a concept sketch, you're kind of sketching out your design on paper, and that does the same thing. It just provides an idea. It does not work. Okay. Then you have a scale model. So this is an enlarged or reduced representation of the object that is usually intended for studying purposes. So I'm sure you've seen like the small scale models of dinosaurs that you can buy and put together and paint, or of cars or boat or trains or planes, whatever. If you go to some type of museum, you actually see those all the time. They're scale models. They're either scaled up or scaled down of the actual object size. Prototype. So this is what a lot of you are building when you're trying to solve some type of problem, and you say, "Hey, here's my object that solves the problem." You're actually creating a prototype. So a prototype is a full-scale working model of a design concept, so of a design idea, okay, that is used for actually making observations. So testing it out. So what we do at school is, in several different classes and forms, you might make something to test it out, see how it works. Okay. And then if you had the time and the money, you would actually make necessary adjustments. Right. The things that we buy at stores, they used to be prototypes. They went through a whole bunch of different stages of manufacturing, and they were all prototypes until finally one prototype was actually approved for marketing, and that turned into a product. Okay, so a product is an object or substance that is manufactured and refined by either humans, machines, or biological slash chemical process for either sale or use. So, in other words, when we make the iPhone, that's a product. We sold that. But then it is later refined by humans and machines for resale. Okay, again and again and again. And this whole biological and chemical process, that might be talking about like medicine. Okay, but a product is something you would physically buy. So within products, you have what's called an object or substance that is manufactured. So, like what we just said, right? And within the product itself, how we actually work with that product is called ergonomics. Okay, it's kind of a hard word to say, but it's called ergonomics. So it's the study of how something forms, fits, or interacts with the human body. So the example I gave you down here in these pictures is the old typical handle of a hammer. It was just straight wood, maybe rounded a little bit, but no indents for your fingers. They started to make other handles that actually curve with your hand. So that allows your wrist to flex better and get more force downwards. But then they actually made it finger grips on a lot of handles too. I haven't seen a hammer with these, but that's just an example of how there's finger grips that mold and curve around where your fingers are. These little bends or little cuts in here actually allow this material to flex even more for even more grip. Okay, and that is ergonomics, how something form fits the human body. So, for instance, your clothes. That's why we have small, medium, large, and all these different sizes. They need to fit your body differently. Okay, and that is the different types of modeling.